We are MCDM Productions, and we play D&D.
We are Motorhead! And we play rock and roll!
Hey, welcome back. This is part 2 of the game that we played last week. So you are watching this in our future, which is an interesting time travel. And it's possible that some of us, maybe will be in chat. That's a rare opportunity for us to get to actually be in chat when something is happening. So we normally have announcements here, but it's late and I'm wiped out and I want to get to the game. But we do have more fan art that we want to show off that we have collected since last time. So I don't know I don't have a button to press to make that happen, but it would be neat if it did.
We can will it. We can will the fan art. There it is.
Oh, I love this. This is Angel being like,
man, fuck that guy. That's not Angel though. That's
correct.
Yes.
That is the doppelganger.
Yeah.
That is
Real
the
son of a
doppelganger.
bitch.
So yeah, fuck that guy.
Or he's not a doppelganger. If you look up doppelganger, it doesn't have the stats of the thing you guys fought.
Oh,
It's King.
cool.
Oh,
It's
this
King
is great.
with
With the mind player
Concentrating
hand.
and flailing the hand.
that was
Oh,
awesome. That was so cool. That's nice art. I like that.
Really
I like
good.
that art.
Really
Yeah.
good.
This is what happens.
Snap.
Yep.
Splat.
This is what happened to butts. Yep.
It's a lot of butts.
Oh, look, like Nails is holding a nail.
That's cool.
I
Yep.
realized that until just now.
I like
haven't
that
seen
there
that
was
one.
a
That's funny.
Dr. Manhattan gif that somebody posted when butts exploded, and then they just
Oh,
reversed
my
it. Went,
Oh, I've seen
this was just today, I think.
This is really funny.
This is
This is the community protecting Judge from
Oh.
Matt.
me apparently. Apparently, I look like Liam's character from Critical Role.
The PC killer.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully nobody else dies. Hey, it's Tarna. This is my NetHack
Oh,
character.
cool.
This isn't going to make sense to many of you, but yes, this is my
Is
NetHack.
that
so
Cookie?
cool though.
That is Cookie. That's back before she was a bone devil. My dog turned into a bone devil.
I like your kneecaps.
Back when she was just like a buff Sheba.
Ooh,
at
it's
that.
nails.
Oh, that's
Look,
cool.
It's the arrow.
This is right.
And-
This is right before.
Oh, that's sweet
And
in the
Philip eyes.
reflection.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
That's
nice.
cool.
Tears.
Sorry, buddy.
Is that censor?
That's a-
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's a
This is
censored bar.
Copper with the. Are you wearing the blood pill armor, by the way?
I am. Yeah.
So your armor's gone up. That's cool.
Mhm.
That's neat.
I look like I'm disease. I'm like
Oh, hi.
Chickenpox.
chicken.
Yeah.
It's measles. Your parents were anti-vaxxers.
Oh, that
awesome.
sword is badass.
Oh
Look
wow.
at it.
I got
That's-
forked
that's
at the end.
gorgeous.
It's got like a
That is gorgeous.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's got like a guard on it for the fingers. Oh man, that's
That's super
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I don't know
Good
what we
job.
did to deserve all this
Armor.
awesome art, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
awesome.
dope. When last we left our heroes, you folks had just cleared out the infestation of changelings on the Somnium Tenebris, thereby freeing you guys, to the best of your knowledge, from the influence of Ajax, the Invincible. He can no longer follow you and no longer knows exactly where you are. And King gave a prepared speech to the rest of the crew, letting everybody know, hey, it's not the end of the world. And
It's
now,
a very inspiring
Yeah, it's
speech.
beautiful.
Very inspiring.
Very inspiring.
Slim says.
I clapped.
15.
So now it's you guys have about one more night on the Somnium Tenebris, and then you guys are going to be you guys will be out of the maelstrom, so to speak. So the way the Astral Sea works is it corresponds to the mundane world. It's just not one-to-one. Space and time are weird.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are going to spend one more night here. If there's anything else you want to do on the Somnium Tenebris, it's going to take Butts is going to work on getting a potion made out of the brain. So if you guys have the
Cool.
brain of a creature, in this case, the brain of a changeling, you can, if you have an alchemist, the alchemist can turn it into a potion of controlling that creature.
Oh, neat.
So that if you encounter one of those things again, and if you get a potion out of this, and I think there's I think you have to pay some money. I have to look up the rules for it. It's in Strongholds and Followers. the alchemy test and how to create. You can create arrows of creature slaying. You can create a potion of invisibility to that creature so they can't see you. You can make. It depends on which organs that you harvest. And the brain is hard, but if you get it, then you get the potion of control. So you drink the potion and you get dominate that thing,
Neat.
whatever it is,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so if you come across one of these again and you have the potion, then it is possible you could dominate. I should warn everybody that even though you're watching us at around 7 o'clock, it's like 10 o'clock our time. So this is going to be a slightly truncated episode. Is there anything else you guys want to do on the Somnium Tenebris before you get to Capital?
Did we want to look at the Changelings room?
You guys
we
were
already
already.
did that. We
Yeah,
got
we
the
did
treasure
that.
from it.
We did that. Okay.
I assumed you were going to do that.
Sorry, that wasn't in the room.
And I was correct. You did.
You did.
I want to
Yep.
feed the Mind Flayer to the ship
Okay.
ASAP.
Does anybody object?
Could we take that brain to him and see if he can like extract any knowledge from it? It's dead brain. I don't know if that does anything, but
He might eat it
You tried to eat the other one.
and
Why
get
not?
some fucked up power that can screw us over.
Can we talk to the mermaid? Does the mermaid know anything more about that mind flayer and her time as a prisoner here?
You mean Aslaug, the
Yeah, I know her
water
mermaid.
ganassi?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not a mermaid, just FYI.
I'm gonna
She has
call
the
her
same-
a
It's gonna be
mermaid.
super
She has-
confusing
My
for
mistake.
people.
She has the same number of feet as
Luke
everybody
said he was
else.
a mermaid.
She's half mermaid.
Does she have
the
web
same way
toes?
that she might. She has a water ganassi. She may have web toes. But yeah, you can. She's helping with the. She's currently with some other people painting
We can use this
the
on her.
symbol of the chain on the.
We can use this on the.
That's right. You have a medallion of thoughts. Yeah, she is. Aslaug is currently basically serving as, repair crew on the ship, working with the members of the chain who have been sailors before, which is like a lot of them have that background, and she just does what they tell her to do, and they'll report back. Like, Two Shields will say she's a good worker, like she's happy to have something to do. She's
should
actually
take
it was Cook
Yep.
who was in charge of her. Yeah. So and Cook is she's 100%. She's great.
Did you ever?
I like Cook says. I like her. She's awesome. Yeah.
Cook, you like
she's,
everybody.
well, it's true. She's true, but but she's actually knows a lot about spices, and anybody that knows how to cook is okay in my book. She says.
All right.
Yeah, she was. I think that she could be useful.
Okay.
Like, I don't think she's just a gardener. I think that she's had some experience.
did we ever ask her what she gardens?
No.
What does a
Water ganass.
yeah? What does a water lady grow?
Well, she worked at an alchemist shop, working to grow the kind of crazy things alchemists like Eye of Newt and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Obviously she wasn't growing newts, but you need like mandrake root for some stuff, but you need mandrake root that has been harvested at a certain time of the year under a certain phase of the moon, and there's all sorts of other crazy stuff, and that's kind of her job. She's kind of like half druid, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, so Cook thinks she's great. She's still like shell shocked, although Cook wouldn't use that phrase.
Mhm.
She still gets frightened easily, and you can tell because anytime she's scared, it's like a wave ripples across her skin. That's that white thing that happens anytime she's very easily startled. So Cook's like, I've kind of learned to be, to like say her name, hey dearie, hey it's me Cook, and then she knows what's going on. But yeah, she's happy to be painting the Chain of Acheron symbol on the sails.
I was going to ask if that was finished yet.
It'll be finished by the time you get to Capital. It'll be finished tomorrow, quote unquote.
Keep her. Feed the Mind Flayer to the ship.
Well, we can use the medallion of thoughts to read its mind and interrogate it.
You sure you
I don't
want to
think.
delve
I don't.
into that?
I mean, how does King feel about feeding the Mind Flayer? King, you're in command.
I don't like mind flayers. Lars doesn't like mind flayers. I don't think any human would really like mind flayers.
Nor should you. They will kill you. They will eat your brain. They will enslave you. Take it from me.
If you're lucky, they do it in that order.
I'm trying to think what kind of information we could get from him that would be helpful.
Well, I mean, he's an evil alchemist mind flayer from the world below. He knows lots of shit you guys don't know about. So I don't know. Like you guys aren't, as far as I know, you aren't in the market right now for. There's this weird thing happening we don't understand, and none of us. But
Like,
on the list of like knowledge sets that you guys don't have,
Yeah.
the Mind Flayer would rank pretty highly. Like there's all sorts of
Like,
stuff that.
yeah.
You can't trust him.
I mean, I'm not.
You will
objecting,
never
like,
be able to
feed me the
trust
shit,
that.
by all means.
You will never be able to trust that creature.
I mean, yeah.
And the longer you keep it alive, the more chance it has to escape and
Yeah, I mean,
wreak havoc on some either our people
Oh.
or other people.
this. I mean,
The Mind Flayer
these are
says-
guys who. Oh, go ahead.
You'd be fools to let me live.
Should I ask Asmodeus which path we should take? If we decide to let him live, if it will be weal or woe?
I can't imagine it's not going to be woe, but go for it.
You
We
gonna cast
got
augury?
another day before.
You gonna cast augury? Is it augury that's wheel or woe?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a couple divination spells, and I thought augury was. Is it second level? That
It's
makes
a
sense.
second level.
That makes sense. I thought
It's
it
a
was-
ritual, so I don't
You
cast
can't
it.
trust devils either.
I could ask my god, but I'm
Actually, in
pretty
fact,
sure
you
my god's
can
gonna
trust
say,
devils. It's demons that you can't trust, and I'm tired of everybody getting this wrong all the time. We are lawful.
You can trust devils to make the choice that is best for them.
Well, it's a good thing I'm looking
What a
out for
coincidence,
the
the Mind Flayer says. That's exactly as far as you can trust me. I can't imagine what possible threat I could be to you here in this cell. He says and pulls at the collar around his neck.
Yeah, it says this is the Wheeler Woe thing.
Hmm.
I'm just kind of curious. I want to see what Asmodeus has to say, and it's not a spell slot, so why not?
You're just gonna casually call
Just like you just
Lord
hold
of
on a
Hell.
moment, just
Yeah.
gonna.
Well,
just like,
listen.
nobody watch me. I can't do
I'll
it if you're
do-
looking.
She actually. What's your? She has a title now.
I am a Marquis of Hell.
She's a marquis.
So
of Hell.
I've got his direct line.
Yeah.
He is picking up the phone.
Yeah, devil. Actually, we might now. Everybody's leveled up. It might be cool for the people watching if we did a little round table of what abilities you folks just got.
Mm.
Yes.
Boots, what did you get at 6th level?
Well, I I have an additional duelist point, and I am now an expert, which means that I have a double proficiency bonus in acrobatics, persuasion, insight, and stealth.
Damn.
That's pretty cool.
So I got a. This is based off of Matt's modified Beast Ranger. At 6th level, your allies use your dexterity results when moving stealthily as long as they remain 15 feet of you. So we can all move
Neat.
as
Yeah.
a group.
Yeah.
Oh,
So as long as
so
you
it's
stay,
key.
so when he makes a stealth check, as long as you're within 15 feet of him, you get his result. You can always decide. You can always decide to make your own check. If, for instance, you suddenly had like a thief in the party or like a duelist who's really good at it.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
you can always use your own result,
But
but
for
otherwise, if you're a heavily armored character that's not good at sneaking, it's basically like walking in his footsteps.
Uh-huh.
Like, follow me, do what I do, and now you can use his ability. What does?
I got ability score improvement.
That's pretty cool, and you get a lot of those. Fighters
Yes.
get a ton of those.
Yeah, apparently you get them like every couple levels.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Interesting.
So in addition to 2 more spell slots at the 3rd level, which is a new level for me, I also am now a Marquis of Hell, which means that devils will not attack me if they see me. And if I see a devil, I can have it make a charisma saving check, basically. And if I beat it, it will now behave as if I am the master of that devil.
Wow.
I don't know how long it lasts because it doesn't save, so forever, I guess.
That's a good point. It's probably I'll have to put a duration on there.
No, I should have said it.
Until
I'll have to put a duration. But it's this is like if you're going to use the ill rigor, you need as the dungeon master, you need to be aware
Oh,
that it is literally a night of hell. That's not a euphemism. It's not a euphemism. So don't get frustrated as a dungeon master with an ill rigor in the party. You're like, I keep throwing these demons and they just don't. Why did I do this? Just be aware. Don't run a very demon centric game if there's an ill rigor, because otherwise, anyway.
Demon or devil?
Did I keep saying demon? It's devil.
devil. Demon devil.
Devil centric game.
all of you.
Demon. I think of demon as being I should say
Demons,
Yeah,
devils.
devils don't. Yeah.
Same thing.
So yeah, you got to be careful as a dungeon master if you have a heavily devilish focused encounter that your knight of hell is probably gonna be like, "Hey guys, remember me?" And they're like, "Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, what would you like, sir?" What does King get? Actually, didn't King change his spec?
Yeah, so I'm a Zeal cleric.
See, I don't know what that is. Is that new?
It's a fire and thunder cleric.
Cool.
Fire and thunder.
Not a
Is
orc,
that is
not a
that
orc.
where is that from?
It's from the plane shift.
Plane? What the hell is that?
It's like the Magic the Gathering.
Oh, is that the
Oh, Ravnica?
Ravnica thing?
I don't think it's in that book. I think it's
Oh.
extra things that they released
Oh.
on it.
Okay, cool.
Um,
What does a Zeal cleric get?
they're kind of a mix between Tempest and Light clerics, which is what I wanted to be.
Okay, what is it mechanically? What does that mean?
Mechanically, they're kind of. I guess actually they're kind of more like paladins, so they get smites.
Oh, they get smites.
Yeah,
really?
they get smites.
That's cool.
And then they get fireball. They do not get thunder, but they don't get call lightning, but they get shatter.
That's cool.
So then at level 6, I get resounding strike. When I deal thunder damage to a large or smaller foe, I can push them up to 10 feet away, and I can use my channel divinity twice now. And if I use turn undead and the undead are under 1/2 challenge rating, they just disintegrate.
That
So
would be
that's
it.
nice.
That would be That's yeah.
So
So-
bring some undead boys.
They have to be really weak. You have to go find a first level party and bully them and take over their adventure. And then when a whole bunch of skeletons show up, you can be like,
Well,
aha!
I think I know a first level party that wouldn't go in the dungeon, so I could just come over
That's
and,
true.
Go join.
That's true. He's talking about OD&D. That's true. There was that dungeon sitting out there waiting, being lonely and forlorn, wishing some adventurers would come and explore it. Blimey. So that's where so everybody has leveled up, and now Judge is going to cast Augury and consult the bones or the cards.
All right. So
I would
shuffling.
we are going to design an Augury deck.
All right. So he turns over a card. There's a star on it, which is appropriate considering we're on the Astral Sea.
Correct.
The attunement is strong.
Now, does Anna know what the star card symbolizes?
This particular deck is a special Oracle deck, so no.
Okay. So you're saying, what question are you asking? I think I know, but I want to.
I'm asking if we let the Mind Flayer live
Yes.
and join the chain. They don't know what I'm asking, but if we let it live and join the chain,
Yeah.
what are the results?
Where's my? Here we go. Because it's not like a booming voice cries out. I assume you know the answer,
Mm-hmm.
Speaks
right?
to you in
Just
your-
feel it in my heart. Cold dead one.
You're laughing at it.
Oh man.
So here's what
Just a
Asmodeus.
very good Lars face.
Here's what
Look at
Asmodeus.
Lars.
Here's what Asmodeus says. We had a birthday. It's Lars' birthday, by the way, or
Oh,
was it
yeah.
Lars' birthday yesterday? And
Happy
we had a birthday party
birthday.
for Lars, and he's smiling. He doesn't
I
want you to
didn't
know
smile.
that. He doesn't
He
want you to know
smiled.
this. He's doing it right now. He's doing it right now.
He's gonna drink.
He's-
Well, I hope Steph's watching because she'll.
Well, no, we're too late. It was a week ago.
It was a week ago, yeah.
That's true.
Oh,
It was.
that's
That's
true.
true. It
Oh,
was. It was a
yeah.
week.
A week
Correct.
ago.
Yes.
We
A
could go
week
in
ago for
yesterday.
It was in the distant past, from your point of view, in our recent past. These time travel episodes are so confusing.
Yeah. Well, we're in the Astral Sea.
Yeah,
so
you're right. Time does not pass normally. Yeah. So happy birthday, Lars. I wish you guys could have been at his birthday party. He seemed like he had a great time. Unlike whenever you see him, when he seems miserable.
Miserable.
All right. So yes, Judge actually uses a deck of cards. Does Judge just plop down on the floor? Do you grab a table in the mess or something? Do you go to your quarters? Where does this happen? Does everybody else get to watch this card reading?
No. Judge will just go off to like a cell real quick, essentially.
Okay.
Like one of the open ones or something like
Sure.
that, and just kind of like just do it kind of really quick or whatever the case is.
Okay.
Because it won't take as long because we're on the Astral Sea, so the attunement is a lot stronger here.
You are
Connection.
literally closer to
Yeah.
Asmodeus here than you are in the mundane world. Judge
Interesting.
returns from his consultation
Did you
with
win?
his demon lord.
Okay, cool.
Just give him solitaire.
Yeah.
So I look over at King, and I'm just like,
We're gonna let Slim execute him.
Okay.
He enslaved Slim. Yeah, it wouldn't be cool to leave him around. Do we still have the Mind Flayer hand? Wiggle it around?
You just got it in your pack somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna get 2 more right here. So
Great. All right. So how what is the process you guys go through to execute this mind flayer? Because right now he's in a cell.
Well, I can open it with the rod of command, but we need to be prepared for him to probably try to spring at us. So
Actually, would you like me to suggest something to him to make this a little easier for you? Because I have suggestion. Which he won't put himself directly in harm's way, but at least I can tell him, like, you know, basically, suggestion's kind of a weird one.
don't you
I
have,
mean,
like,
he's helpless. There's nothing he can do.
Oh, okay.
He's got that collar on too.
Yeah, I mean,
that
I
does something.
think,
As long as he's helpless, whatever.
I think Slim just wants to go in and hack
He's the
him,
one with the rod of command.
hack him down. And
Sure.
no, I'm saying what he wants to do. He just
Yeah,
wants to go in and
Yeah, hack him down. Yeah.
chop him.
Well, then I'll open the door and I say, "He's yours." Then I walk.
All right. So Slim will walk in, tell him to kneel. Kneel, creature.
He shrugs. He says, "I've never been very good on my knees."
Blimey.
Yikes.
So he just he's not going to kneel. He's just going to sit there.
All right. Well, then.
Slim executes the mind flare.
Kind of bring him down so you can beat him.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Now we're
grab him by the leg.
Let's take his body actually to the gun, because remember they have the dead mind flayer on the gun. Maybe
Mhm.
we can use the gun if we have his body.
So
Didn't the gun stop working, though?
Can I have the...
Well, no, remember they shot it at us, and they didn't have mind flayers.
Slim knows how the guns work, does he? Or no?
yeah, he knows how that works. Yeah,
What and how do they work?
you give it a living brain,
Uh-huh.
and it gets a certain number of shots based on how powerful the brain is.
Well, we got our brain.
We got 2
A
brains.
living brain?
You give it
Living
a
brain.
living brain.
Yeah, you take a person,
And
you
they
take,
just...
you take their head and you shove it in there
Mhm.
as they scream and kick because you're going to kill them, and the turret eats their
I
brain.
was about to.
Oh.
It eats their
That's what
brain,
we should've
and
done.
while it's going nom 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 nom, you can shoot this thing a certain number of times depending on how powerful the brain is.
Razlax all over again.
Yeah.
How do you think it worked?
I was
I don't
like,
know. I thought you just grabbed it and like that let you aim and you could like a turret.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that, but you would be dead basically. You can't once it starts eating your brain, you can't stop it. So
Okay, so basically those turrets are useless unless we have prisoners we can feed.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. Well, Slim will basically grab the thing by its foot and drag it to the place where you feed it to the ship and dump it in.
okay, no problem. Pass that to Judge. please.
Unceremoniously.
So yeah, the ship gets a tiny little bit of nutrition.
Hmm.
It needs a lot more though. It's still
We're gonna
it's
go
still,
whale
it's
hunting
still
when we
hungry.
get out.
And you guys spend the night, and the next morning, the navigator alerts you to the fact that you are now within range of sublimation, is what it's called. Is what that navigator calls it, which is moving from this plane to another plane.
Right on.
Uh,
I'll Slim will inform the commander. We can re-enter your, I don't know, whatever you call it, your reality now.
world. They're called worlds.
Your world.
They're just called worlds. Like
Yeah.
each in the cosmology of D&D,
Mm.
the different planes. Like only a sage calls them planes. Everybody else
Okay.
just calls them worlds.
All right. We can re-enter your world now.
We don't need to batten down or anything for this one, right?
There is like a what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a transform attack. There's like a mode that the ship goes into, but it's already in that mode.
Oh, okay.
Like you're not currently like the sails aren't furled or anything like that, or they're not unfurled. You are in the interdimensional travel mode.
Sorry,
I think Slim will sit in the pilot's seat for this, just in case.
Sure.
I don't know.
are we in the next day right now?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure I didn't miss that. So, real quick, because what's his face? Judge has got to do his prayers.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
I think he's gonna kind of like inquire about what just happened
Okay. We
in the sense of like, am I being punished?
yes.
Fuck. Fucking knew it. God damn it.
You're a knight. You're a
I
knight.
mean, fucking soft.
You're not So we can talk about you can like I guess judge is kind of like being an Illrigger is like being a really really devout priest. Like you know a lot more about whatever the doctrine is than an average person in the cult. You would be like an expert. And yeah, like you're currently it's not like in NetHack there's a ball and chain you have to drag around. You don't currently have a ball and chain around you. But yeah, you are suffering under you basically have to atone. You have to atone, you have to do something to make Asmodeus happy.
Can I have self-flashlight?
If you did that for long enough, that would probably do it, yeah. But it would be like, guys, I can't go on an adventure. I've got to stay home and
beat myself.
Basically, yeah, blind.
When
It's the only way to pay back the debt.
I suddenly feel it's just like we're playing OD&D. Yeah, so yeah, you have to like, and I don't know if this has ever happened to Judge before, but you know what it's like. You know what it's like when Asmodeus is angry at you, and Asmodeus is angry at you.
Why is Asmodeus angry at you?
You don't know that Asmodeus is angry at
Because you killed
Me and the big guy.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll fix this whenever I get to Capital.
Like there's a whole like list of stuff you can do, and it's generally speaking just like feeding souls to Asmodeus will do it. So especially if they're like if you killed Two Shoes would be a bad example, but if you killed like an enemy paladin, oh yeah, he'd be like, okay, good job, you're fine. Or if you convert an enemy altar, or if you started a cult to Asmodeus, when you get to Capital, that would do it. He'd be like, awesome, good job, we need more of those.
That's
normal everyday stuff. It's in the handbook.
I mean, you make certain.
I bet Slim would have been into that.
What's that?
Give the mind flayer soul over to the demon or devil, whatever.
Yeah, you could have suggested it.
The
It would have been
angry red
eternal
red
pain
guy.
for it, I would imagine. Slim would have been into that.
Yeah, sure, yeah, especially
Now
considering.
you'll know what it's like to be a slave.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not what you did.
Dang it! Another RP opportunity missed.
There'll be plenty more. So yeah, the Rosso Cielo is nearby because the field that the navigator generates can encompass this ship and 2 other ships. So unless there's anything else you folks want to do, it's going to be like you guys are going to traverse the timescape.
Punch it, Chewie.
I go wave goodbye to the fisher.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should go
Perfect.
say goodbye to the fisher
Say
real
goodbye to
quick.
the fisher.
Um,
And nails his energy.
this is
Smoke a
this is-
cigarette and throw it into the sea.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice little homage.
Yeah, some of the other junior officers will join you in saying goodbye to Niles. What are they doing? So the Slim gets into the captain's chair, and the tubes start probing his skull, and the navigator starts listing coordinates. And as the navigator is plotting a course through dimensions, it just seems like the walls of the Somnium Tenebris start to glow. And first, it's just the veins that are normally lit. They provide some luminescence. They glow brighter and brighter, but then the walls start glowing until eventually you can't keep your eyes open. You're blinded, and even covering your eyes, there's still this brilliant light shining through, and there's a roar like the ocean, like the maelstrom in your ears. This incessant white noise that you cannot block out, and the ship lurches, and then the lights go out, and now you can see again, except you've got all these like sunspots in your eyes, and you look out, and you can instantly tell that you're on another world, because the smell, if you're anywhere near one of the ports, if you're anywhere near any of the guns that just have open ports to the sea, you can smell salt water now, and you can smell the spray of a normal natural ocean that has life in it and stuff like that. And if you can,
What is that smell?
has Slim been to the mundane world before?
I don't know.
Well, that's up to you. That's up to you.
I would say no. Well, no, he would have had to have been, because unless you do something different with your gift, they don't age, and you don't age in the astral plane.
Right.
So he would have had to go to some.
Well, he's been to other
mortal
planes. He's
realm.
been to other mortal realms, like he's
Right.
been to Alloy and Quintessence,
Right.
because that's what you were a slave on the ship, as it did.
I'm going to say no. He hasn't been to this world yet.
Well, it's definitely a very organic smell. Like the smell of the sea. You can smell that this is unlike the Astral Sea, which is almost like there are things that live in it, but they are few and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And the water isn't seawater. The water is fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
Here to your nostrils, it smells like bacteria, and
It would be an assault on the senses.
yeah,
I'm
creatures
sure.
go to the bathroom in this water, and there's all sorts of aromas mixed in there. And not necessarily, it's up to you whether or not that's pleasant. But
I would think it would be not pleasant.
well, to folks like Boots and to all of the human crew, they're like like that, and they want to
We're
get
almost
out.
home. Back home.
They want to get out on the
praise the sun.
gangplanks, and you
Praise
can
the
hear the it's awful foul smell. Doesn't ever stop. You can hear some of the soldiers saying, "The sun! We can see the sun!" Because they've gone up to the gangplanks to go around the castle that's built into this thing, and it's a brilliant blue sky. It's shortly after dawn, and you guys are. It's still like there's a lot of fog on the sea, but the sky is mostly clear.
Cool. So as
Excellent.
we proceed towards our destination, Slim's going to give the ship permission to feed on anything that it
Okay.
can get its tentacles on as we go. I don't want to take the ship off course.
I mean,
But-
it can filter feed, so
Mhm.
it can get some nutrients just from moving
Mhm.
in this water. That's not true in the Astral Sea.
Right.
Uh,
But I imagine, it's going to come across stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
A tuna swims by.
Yeah.
Grab it. Eat it.
yeah,
Right?
it can do that.
Eat
Yeah.
everything you can while we're going.
Okay. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get to capital otherwise, because the ship is going to be like, like that. And so every once in a while, the ship just kind of goes like that, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And then it just stops, and you see the tentacles kind of going splash, 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 because this ship is alive. It is a living creature. And then it just kind of goes, okay, where's it going? Oh, this way. And it's, but in order for it to move at all,
Mhm.
you have to unfurl the sails. Because this is no longer the mind power of the Astral Sea. Now you're under, and the Somnium Tenebris is not a fast ship on normal using normal wind power. It doesn't have rigging like a normal ship.
Interesting.
Its sails will work, and you'll get some propulsion,
Mhm.
but its sails are built and angled mostly to catch the psychic wind
Mhm.
of the Astral Sea, not a real wind.
I
So-
wonder if we can modify it. Well, once we get to capital, I mean, we can. Have
Well, we
some of the
had
guys
Boots
work on it.
establish a crew, and they're
Yeah.
going to be maintaining it, so
Yeah.
that can be what they're doing
Mhm.
while we're.
Yeah.
Do the tentacles don't help it move in the water or anything?
No.
Octopus swim.
No, it's not. The tentacles are
Octopuses use jet
Jets.
propulsion.
The tentacles are like, maybe if you took the ship off it and let it do what it does normally, maybe. But the way the ship built onto it works is that the tentacles are just these forward-facing attack things.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have the mobility to use them to get around. Whatever this creature was before the Mind Flayers enslaved it, now it's a weapon.
Yeah. Oh, it's slave. It's enslaved.
Boots, you're from Rioja, right?
Yeah.
How do you think the capital is going to respond to this thing coming into dock?
Well, there's plenty of strange things that dock in capital. I don't know if. Let me think about this for a moment.
Sure.
My handwriting is terrible.
Thanks.
Is there a single tap? We should get a single tap here.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The only issue is the Imperial Navy is going to want to inspect it.
Well, good luck to them.
I mean, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, probably have to comply to that.
Right, it's our ship now. So, might be able to persuade them to give us a pass on some of the stranger situations we've got going on here.
So like with the picture of it, how much of it's in the water?
Like it's
Pull it up.
in fact the navigator has stats on like what the beam of the ship is and how far it's. There's a term for how much of a boat is submerged in the water, but it's like it's.
I'm guessing. I mean, like,
Could
we submerge it enough so that most of the really weird shit is below the water?
No, it's no more submerged or unsubmerged than it was in the Astral Sea. It's just floating. There's some of the ship is below and the rest of it's above.
But I imagine like the tentacles are mostly underwater.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although they do come up out of the water. They do. They're not all underwater. So that's, you can see them moving and grasping things.
I would imagine that if we could keep the ship from eating other ships,
like there's no way
other people, which we could keep the ship from eating other ships and people, right?
Yeah.
Captain?
Yes.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
I mean, it probably won't do it unless you say it to do it.
You got an ocean song for us?
No, unfortunately.
a
The Great Sea
little
from
baby.
Wind Waker?
A little, no. I'm afraid. In fact, the Twitch stream got muted playing NetHack because of some song that I accidentally played. I don't even think it was on any playlist I was listening to. I think some track that I was listening to ended, and then another track started playing on the SoundCloud that was a copyright strike.
Oh, wow.
So I got to be careful what kind of stuff we play, because otherwise, it'll just start muting stuff. The good news was it only muted that part of the stream. It didn't mute the entire thing.
That's right.
So I didn't know it was going to work that way, but it did. So yeah, it's you guys are about an hour out of capital at the rate that the Somnium Tenebris moves. The navigator brought you in really close to the city.
Cool. Good job, navigator.
The crew are noticeably excited. The Rosso Cielo is pulling ahead away from you guys because it is a much faster ship.
Well, maybe we should go with the Rosso Cielo to the docks because they're going to take longer to get there, and we can talk to them about what's about to happen.
Well, you're going to have to somehow signal to the Rosso Cielo to stop.
Yeah, they said they never wanted to see us again.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually want to go to Capital.
They said they're going to capital.
I think.
Well, I mean, that was not. They weren't. They. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I thought
They're
they
going to
were.
Capital to get another job to
Oh, that makes sense.
just carry on living their lives.
Can you
Yeah, I don't know. Unless we have some sort of like a,
message or something.
if there's like a lifeboat or some sort of like landing vessel
You guys have,
on this ship.
You guys have the. No. Like. So is there like a junior officer in charge of the boat?
Well, we talked about, me and Gudesto talked about like how every day or something that we'd connect and then we'd go over and chat and stuff.
Yeah, but
like
now
that.
you're in the real world, and they're like, "Okay, see you guys." Like,
Well, we talked about how whenever we got to the docks, though, like I asked Gudesto if we would be able to speak with him about how to procure like the licenses needed for spell casting and stuff like that as well. That I thought he agreed to.
you have to find them when you get to the docks.
Yeah, that was also before all of the
Crazy shit.
before the Illithid ship showed up, before Nails exploded.
Yeah.
For all that.
Before nails exploded. Is there anything you folks want to do? Like, the thing you're lacking right now, or one of the things you guys are lacking, is you don't have the normal flags that you use to communicate with other ships with.
Right.
Because this is a Lithid ship, and the way they communicate is by. Oh, you were delicious. Thank you. So,
Do we know what flag to? Do we know what the flag that says, "Hey, everything's cool"? Looks like?
Boots would know, I'd assume.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's different flags with different colors, and they're basically just two colors. They're square flags that usually have a diagonal through them, and depending on the colors, if it's a solid white flag, if it's red one side, black on the other, then it communicates different things like why we're here, whether or not we can be boarded and stuff like that.
Well, because I'm just wondering, like, if we have a sheet, and like flying the white flag is like, hey, it's cool, we're not here to fight.
I'm sure we could
Yeah.
make a crude facsimile of one.
Yeah, a white flag is no problem. That's kind of a universal symbol for don't attack us.
Mhm.
But Aslaug and some of the other soldiers have painted on one of the sails the symbol of the chain. So it's up to you guys whether or not you want to like just fly it.
Well, why wouldn't we?
Well, because Ajax is after us, right?
I
Do
don't
we
know.
want to signal so soon where we are at now? Because I'm
He-
sure
he
he's
knows
got
where we
agents.
No, he
No,
doesn't.
not
We
anymore.
killed.
Yeah, but you don't think that thing told him
Oh.
where we were going? You don't think he can figure it out?
But we know he doesn't want to be in Capital. Capital's at the end of his conquer line.
And certainly,
I mean, but that's not an answer to the question. Do you want to fly the flag?
Well,
Well,
Well, we need
Your
them to
call,
know we're
Commander.
not there. If they see our symbol on a mind flayer ship, they're gonna know it's not mind flayers coming to fucking sack Capital. So
well, if they also see a whole bunch of
Possible.
humans and non-mind players up on the top deck, like waving and being happy and shit, that probably sends a pretty good signal as well.
I mean, I suppose.
Waving
It's
and
up
being
to you.
happy,
It's
I
up
guess.
to you, Commander.
I think we might as well fly it. I mean, we're about to
Yeah,
make
I
our
mean, I
presence
don't
known.
see any. I can't think of a reason to
Are you
not to. at
thinking
this point.
like
Just
if you
kidding.
do have
Plus
it
we
up,
want work.
and Ajax
Yeah.
sees that as we dock? No, he would. Would he even? Does he even have anyone in Capital?
He
I don't
probably
know. I
has
mean,
people
there's
in
Probably
Capital.
spies or something.
agents. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's He's
someone.
one of the most powerful entities on the planet,
Yeah.
and he has
Yeah,
a
someone.
fucking faceless guard on your ship somehow. So
Yeah.
it's not like Capital is an Ajax-free zone.
Mm.
It's just that there's a lot of people there that don't like the guy.
Got it.
And it's going to be easy to find allies. Easy to find allies there, and as King said, it's the last place on his world-conquering itinerary. Although you guys saw the Chrysopolis just appear in the middle of Black Bottom, where it was supposed to be like 2,000 miles away. So what that means, who knows? So the
Okay.
Somnium Tenebris slowly makes its way across the sea. The marine layer that is kind of shrouding the city parts, and you see the city of Capital. It's the greatest city in this or any age, the city of the great game. It's massive. It is the largest city any of you have ever seen. It is larger than Alloy. It is larger than the capital city of Quintessence. It's mostly its size is in width. There aren't these huge skyscrapers, but there are many multi-story buildings, and they're all like random. There's not like one big central, and it seems deep. It seems like it could be miles across, and then it's nestled in, from your point of view, in these really old green hills that protect it from the weather on the other side. And it looks like kind of like olive growing country, scrublands, and there's a large island that itself is as big as many cities that is between you and Capital, and these are the docks. And there's a little cutscene where the camera cuts to a woman in a tower who's looking through a spyglass, and she's just looking through the spyglass, and she pans across, and out of the mist comes the Somnium Tenebris, and she goes like that and puts her eye back to the glass, and someone in a moment of dramatic savvy unfurls the sails, and you see the Chain of Acheron's symbol, having conquered the Somnium Tenebris, now approaching the docks. And this woman grabs the eyeglass and runs down. Cut to a room that looks like, not entirely unlike this, like a really well-furnished study. And there's an old man, he's Vaslorian. He's got short gray hair, he's got a little goatee, and he's scribbling some kind of notes. Like he's got a quill pen and he's writing a memo or filling out a form or something. And he's got a huge oak desk. And a young woman walks in and says, "Sir, this is a different character than the one with the spyglass." Says, "Sir, the chain have arrived in Capital." And he looks up and says, "I'm sorry, what? What chain?" And she says, "The Chain of Acheron, sir, the mercenary company." He goes, "Ah, yes. Yes, of course. A little ahead of schedule, aren't they? I thought you said 2 weeks. It's been 3 days." She says, "Sir, their mode of transport is somewhat unusual."
Unorthodox.
And you guys now are approaching, the Somnium Tenebris is slow, as compared to other ships, the Rossos Yellow is already docked at one of the berths, on the quay. And as you are approaching, another ship, a much faster ship, starts to cut in and approach. And it's a huge galleon. It's like half again as big as Rossos Yellow. And it is clearly it is a Riojan ship. It is very well outfitted. And it has something, I don't know how many of your characters have seen before. It depends if you've served in this part of the world, but they have cannon.
Cannons.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is not technology that the Rossos Yellow has. They have cannons.
So it appears to be some
We should
kind of
get some of
Riojan
those.
naval ship.
Yeah, we can't use
Yeah, this is a
turrets,
real.
Yeah, rip the turrets
this
out
is
and put
yeah,
stuff in.
Yeah, you can tell just by looking at it that the sheer amount of filigree on this ship, like they must spend a ridiculous amount of time considering the rust and corrosion of the sea, just keeping the thing painted and the brass polished, because there's brass fixtures even on the outside of the boat all over the place, and the sails have this like almost a texture to them, like they're artisanal sails.
The Riojan quality.
Yeah, they've got this weird pattern on them, almost like a watermark. And it's a huge, fast ship, and it's going to intercept the Somnium Tenebris.
Very well.
Well, we've got our white flags.
Does it
Yeah.
have a big, what is it, ram mounting the world on it?
No,
Oh, jeez.
no, it doesn't.
Okay. For
No,
once.
it
Because
does.
it
It
was
has.
about to get torn in half if it did.
Yeah.
It has.
Seriously.
You might have to sacrifice some brains if you want your. You guys have cannons too. They're brain powered. I'm sorry, that amuses me maybe a little bit too much. Yeah, so they do have they're flying several different flags. They're flying what any Riojan would recognize as the flag of capital, the prince's flag. They also have a highly stylized black crow on a flag, on a crest, and they have a thin line. You can see if you're standing outside, if you're standing on one of the gangplanks. Again, there's not like a main deck where a whole bunch of people can stand, but every deck of the ship, there's an outer section where you can walk around. It's usually only about 5 feet wide. There are ladders going up and down. This is how you get the sails up and sails down. And now these are filled. Almost everybody on the ship that can be out on these gangplanks is out on these. All the soldiers of the chain are all keen to see what happens next.
30.
Yeah,
One
30,
of them.
20. I think you had 33 and then you lost 5.
26.
So I think you're at 20 something now. I'll have to figure that out. I think it would be cool to actually come up with who all the 26 people left in the chain are. Because this is what's left of the 365 soldiers that you guys had when you rolled into Black Bottom. And now there's a little under 30 arriving
So now we're
in
a month.
And you see on the other ship, you see how we're
A month.
No, we're not a year anymore.
Yeah.
No, we're a month. There are many fewer links in the chain now. You see a rope go up on this ship that has a string of these little communication flags.
What do they say, Boots?
Use your boots eyes.
I
use my eyes and my brain to read them.
It means halt. They mean halt and prepare to be boarded.
All right, let's stop.
All right. Stop the ship.
The ship.
Tell it to behave itself. Make sure
The ship
it
sees
behaves
this other
itself.
ship and it's like.
No,
No.
don't do that.
No.
Yeah, but and you see it kind of like go, but all of a sudden the tentacles start flailing in the water, and you see this orca being lifted up out of it, and it goes, and it starts eating the orca. And you can just get this sense of like, you didn't even realize it until now, but ever since you pair bonded with the Somnium Tenebris, you've had this kind of, you're like, I'm hungry. I feel like I could eat something. And now you're like, oh, wait, it's gone. Look at that. And there's some, like what the ship feels, you feel.
Interesting.
But it's always a very minor version of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
It's like having a baby.
So do I feel sated? Do I feel sated as it eats this orca?
Sorry.
I'm not a doctor.
Obviously, Anna is neither a doctor or a mom,
Or a baby.
Possibly not even human.
Is
that not how babies work for you guys?
I'm sorry. I'm just delighted by the possibility that somebody thought that you have a telepathic bond with your child. Anyway, where were we? Yes. So, yeah. So the ship is happy to just sit here and eat, and it will stop.
Well, I want to make sure that the navigator realize, it can eat sea creatures, like
not ships.
fish, not ships,
Right.
not human. Like, don't
Correct.
attack anything
Humans.
unless
Sea
Humans that
creatures-
fell overboard.
Sea creatures are
Fish is food.
valid targets,
Mhm.
not other vessels.
Right.
What if the navigator asks, what if the other vessel is a living creature? Then it's okay to eat, correct?
You mean if there's another being sort of, or another ship like this one?
Yeah, it lists like a couple of different Astral Sea vessels that are made out of living creatures. What if it's one of these? What if it's one of these? Can we eat one of these? Can we eat one of these?
If they attack, yes. Otherwise, leave them alone.
Yeah, it doesn't have an opinion. It's just a
Yeah.
computer, so it's like no problem.
Yeah.
So this
I would say that it can defend itself against any threats.
okay.
So if somebody in the city decides they want to hurt it or damage it in some way, it can defend itself.
Well, yeah, the navigator is certainly smart enough to understand what those conditions mean,
Right.
so it can take care of that on its own.
Right.
Although, like the tentacles are a limited, like you have to get really close to use the tentacles.
Yeah.
Like the navigator lets you know, like it would be easier to defend the ship if the psionic cannons were manned,
Right.
literally manned.
Man.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
I think we're going to replace those.
It doesn't have an opinion about that.
Yeah.
We can, well, never mind.
I have some ideas.
So this other ship,
Enforcers can do something with that, but not I.
this other ship pulls up, basically like as you guys were with the Rossos Yellow, except it's facing this direction, which also means there's like 12 cannons pointed just a few yards off the Somnium Tenebris, the Dark Dream. And you see a bunch of sailors, except these guys are all wearing uniforms. This is not like the Rossos Yellow. These guys have really smart uniforms. And you see also on this ship there are what appear to be like soldiers with breastplates, and some of them have halberds, and they're getting a gangplank ready to dock with your ship.
I think we're all up on the thing, right?
Yeah.
So Judge will call out, like, look smart to the rest of the soldiers, just to kind of like,
Sure, yeah, actually, if the Chain of Acheron can look more together than anybody on the Rossos Yellow. Like a lot of those guys walk around without a shirt on. They couldn't put their hands on one if they needed to. But yeah, the Chain of Acheron they don't have a uniform, but they all have the colors. Somewhere on their outfit they have the colors, so they can sharpen up a little bit.
reach out and I kind of like try to straighten Copper's top out a little bit. It's probably just gonna be like.
Two Shoes turns to King and says, "Sir, what should we do? Do we care about these guys, sir?"
We need to talk to them. There's some kind of guard at the city. If we want to get in capital, we're going to have to deal with capital's ways.
Sir, yes, sir. There are two guards posted at their end of the gangplank. It's 10 feet wide. It goes like about 30 feet to link the two ships. And a man walks out halfway on the gangplank, and he sort of looks like Boots. He's dressed very similarly to Boots, except he has this hat with these outrageous peacock feathers on, and he has a lute slung over his back. And he speaks like he's an orator. He speaks with a loud voice so that anybody who's close to the gangplank, the entryway onto the Somnium Tenebris, can hear him say, "You have the honor of being detained by my lord, the most honorable Marquis Damasco, captain of the HRP Broad Sword, Knight of the Crescent Moon, Vice Admiral of His Royal Prince's fleet, Grand Champion Companion of the Order of Nine Stars, Commander of the Order of Saint Montanino." And he continues. He talks for like
Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, blah, blah, blah.
Sully, blah.
Detained?
What was the name of who we were detained by? Did anybody catch that?
The Marquis de
Damasco.
Damasco.
It's one word, Damasco, not dead.
Detained?
Why are we detained?
It's just temporary, I'm sure.
It's
not my posh accent.
The herald continues along the gangplank, and there's a tall, Corsarian-looking guy, has very, very dark skin, and he's older, and he is wearing. This is the guy at the end of the gangplank. This is a dude wearing like an admiral's uniform, and there are a handful of soldiers behind him, and they're all kind of coordinating to get ready to cross. And who meets the herald who walks across?
Can I go and talk to this guy?
Sure, yeah.
All right. I'll walk up to my.
I'll go up with Boots. But
King in boots.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably a good
No, I'm gonna let you
good
lead.
duo.
You're the charismatic boy. So
Well,
the-
I look like a Rioan too, right?
Yeah,
so like,
absolutely.
there might be
yeah, you look like
a
yeah.
note of
yeah.
you know,
If there's like
put them at
if-
ease a bit.
yeah,
Not
absolutely.
like a lithid coming up to talk to them or anything like that.
No, unfortunately, that's not on the table anymore. You ate him or had him killed. You fed him to the ship.
He's been eaten.
hey man,
Rightfully
if you
so.
said he looked like that mini, we might have kept him.
Yeah.
Well, he would look like that if you gave him all the stuff. The herald approaches and sees you and smiles, and he says, a civilized man.
Indeed, and likewise, good day to you, sir. And might I add, what a resplendent hat.
Oh, thank you very much. And he doffs his hat to you. And this guy is ethnically Rioan. This guy, much like you, he has a spitting image. He's got the black goatee. He's got the long black hair. He introduces himself as Ruggieri de Sestini, herald to the Marquis de Masco. And he says, and you can see the Marquis is like walking down the gangplank now. And he's flanked, behind him are like 2 columns of Marines. These are guys in breastplates, and they have halberds and swords. And he says, things will go easier with your most expensive wine.
Oh,
Well,
Wow.
I hope he likes Mind Flayer beer.
yeah. Let's get
Yeah.
get some of the.
So,
You said it was good.
It was
I
good.
mean, it's very sweet. It's very sweet. Yeah.
They probably like sweet.
And it's sweet, and it's weirdly chewy. It has a weird, it's very viscous.
Well, it's the best we got, so we could try to sell it to him like it's
Extremely rare vintage.
You just gotta say this is a rare vintage. It's a real
Yeah.
treat.
It's otherworldly.
Aged on
Something that you
astral
will
plane.
never
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
on this,
Otherworldly.
on this
This
world.
stuff's really hard to get.
Yeah.
You don't know what we had. You don't know what we had to go through to get a
Yeah.
cask of this stuff.
So this dude, the herald, is just gonna walk on the ship. Like he's just gonna walk past you guys, like it's no big deal.
All right, I'm gonna ask.
I'm gonna look at Two Shoes and point at that guy.
Okay.
Oh wait,
so-
wait. The herald walks
Yeah,
past
the
or
herald.
the Marquis walks past?
The herald stops. He walks up to you and introduces himself.
Yeah.
Bows, doffs his hat, says, kind of as an aside, things will go better with your most. This process will be a lot smoother if you present your. And then after having done that, he acts like it's his ship, and he's just gonna walk. He's just gonna board the Somnium Tenebris.
Is the Marquis here as well?
You can see him walking down the gangplank.
Can I?
So these guys are just okie dokie with the.
Well, we haven't gotten
numbers.
like he's not on if I'm giving you guys the opportunity to react,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but when the herald gets on the Somnium Tenebris, he's gonna be like black gods. He's gonna be like start poking stuff.
Let's
Be like, "Does it
also
bleed?"
send a cook to go get some of that wine.
Okay.
The ale?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
have
Mind
cook
Flayer.
like
Mind Flayer
probably
booze.
find
make
best
like
wine.
He's like
food
cooks
and
like
shit.
cooks like. I mean, we've got some Rioan wine.
Oh, well,
Like
let's
we
go
just
with that.
have, and we've got like the chain in your supplies. You have food, and you have food to eat, and you have beer, and you have all sorts of different stuff. You have stuff for the officers. You have stuff for the rank and file, and
Well,
you
let's get
guys
the best
have.
stuff we got.
But like that, I mean, is it the Mind Flayer wine or is it the? What do you guys
Let's get a
get?
little
I
bit
say
of both.
offer them the choice.
Yep.
Because it
Might
we
as
have
well.
the Rioan wine.
So yeah, Cook is like, shit, gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
gotta get dinner ready apparently because crap is happening. So yeah, she's gonna scurry off and get the stuff ready.
Can I have her? Can we send Blue with her?
Who?
Blue, the
The
Galaxy.
mermaid.
That's what I
That's
call her.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I can't remember.
Asma.
That's her name now, Blue.
Blue. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that sounds good.
It's easy enough.
They all need nicknames.
If she's in the company, then she needs a.
We've had a red. Now we have a blue.
Yep.
And now we need a yellow.
I want to like as the herald walks past me, I want to like basically follow along like on his shoulder and
Yeah.
be like, let me know if there's any way that we could let me know if there's any way that I can help you expedite this process.
Oh, it's very polite of you. Nice to meet
Nudge
another
wink.
civilized creature. How did you get this thing?
Well, it's a long story, but
Who is your commander?
my commander is the commander of the Chain of Acheron, and I
I'll
gesture back
light
to
in my hand.
And what is his name?
we call him King.
King? And what are his titles?
Commander.
King, commander of the Chain of Acheron.
I see. He didn't happen to attend any prestigious university, did he?
Oh God.
Perhaps he has been given an honorary knighthood in some far-off order.
I hate these guys already.
You know, I'm sure he has,
Only one of us
but
here has a real title.
we don't really deal in as many titles in the chain. Helps to keep things brief.
We don't dwell on our past.
I understand. And he turns to see that the Marquis is approaching, and he pulls out a little, like, basically a Riohan pocket mirror, and he gets a little bit of powder, and he goes, and gets ready for the, and so yeah, the Marquis and his Marines are about to board the Somnium Tenebris. Do you stop him?
They have to inspect, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I'm
isn't
just-
it polite to say like permission to come aboard? Or
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I guess they don't.
Maybe ask what they're gonna do or something once they board us.
I don't know. You're the captain or commander. Do it.
Like-
so the
Yeah, so-
Herald walked onto the ship, and Boots went and followed the Herald, which means, as far as I know, you're just standing there.
No, I was waiting for the
Yeah.
the Marquis Damaso to come over.
Yeah,
so I can
he's
talk to him.
going to ignore you and just walk past you onto the ship.
Okay. Well, when he comes across, I'm gonna stand in front of him and put my hand out to shake his hand.
He looks at your hand like you've just tried to hand him a fish, right? Like, what is this?
I'm clean.
And you hear a voice behind you say, I have the honor of presenting King, commander of the Chain of Acheron. And the Marquis Damasco says, shall we begin the inspection?
Go ahead.
After you.
Good luck inspecting the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this?
So
doors and
the
everything.
Marines,
I
the Marines.
I'll
come
say, how
aboard.
about some wine first?
Oh,
We have something you've probably never had.
wow, that's. He turns to his men and he says, "My men will inspect the ship," and they all break up. The Marines all start.
Junior officers
They're gonna
should
want-
probably escort them.
Mhm.
You know, if they go in groups, just break up the junior
It's
officers.
safer for them. This ship has many secrets.
Don't want to fall in a milk pit or something.
Well, the funny thing is,
That's what
like,
they are.
I mean, I guess any of the important rooms that Slim would have on lockdown, that only the senior officers would be able to open. So, yeah,
But they're gonna
So-
make sure that we don't have like some kind of crazy
yeah.
weapon in
Mm.
here or something.
Oh,
I mean,
you
the
mean-
ship
you
is
mean-
some
you
kind of
mean
crazy
like-
weapon.
They're
Like
I mean,
a giant squid ship.
the Herald will explain. I should say, yeah, the Herald will explain that they're just going to want to like make sure that you don't have any contraband, which means they're going to want to see like every little nook and cranny of the ship. They're going to want to look everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean the mind flayer's gone, so that would have been the only contraband, I think. So
Sorry, there's a whole. Anyway, yeah.
There's a whole, yeah.
Yeah. So are you going to send junior officers with them?
sure.
Okay.
I can show him around.
You can see that the Marines are, especially with like Two Shoes, when Two Shoes is like, okay, follow me, that immediately the commander of the Marine unit starts talking to Two Shoes a lot more like a normal person than the Marquis does.
So
But,
they're not all assholes.
the Marquis looks to you, and he takes off his hat now that you're indoors, and he says, "Is there an officer's mess?"
Yep.
Well, then I am your guest.
Well, hopefully, as the cook has the food up there. So
Well, yeah,
Let's go.
that's what you.
As you walk
Yeah.
down the halls, he says, "Interesting ship."
yeah, we get that a lot.
And how did you come by it?
We were attacked by it on the Astral Sea.
sort of necessity as the mother of invention type of thing.
It seems to be alive.
Oh yes, it is very much alive.
Small sales, though.
Well, we're working on that.
He tries. That's his attempt to like make small talk, and yeah. With King, it's not working.
Yeah, King's talk is real small.
Well, yeah, and also like this guy's a nobleman, so he's not used to. He's not used to. He's making a very bad attempt to try to relate to King.
Yeah, but that part of my life is over. So.
So yeah, he's gonna follow you guys to the officers' mess, and he and his herald will sit. And he's delighted that you have wine ready. He's by all means, what is this? He says, pointing to the Mind Flayer wine.
Ah, well, this is a rare.
He'll grab a cup and pull it toward him.
An exceptionally rare vintage.
And his herald will pour because of course he would never do anything like pouring the wine himself. His herald pours the wine and wants to know if any of you want any.
We should probably take a sip of it to prove
Show it's not
poison.
poison.
Yeah.
So he says, in anticipation of passing your inspection, welcome to Capital.
Cheers.
Are we all drinking?
And it does. You see, it almost like chokes on it a little bit because you can't really like sip it. It's so viscous. Once you start drinking some, it's all just gonna go like it's gonna go down your throat. So it's going. There's some bit stuck in his teeth, and he's chewing on it. He's very interesting. But I think I'll have the port next time. So what is your business in Capital? He says, kind of leaning back in his chair. He's got a sword on his hip. He puts his hand on the sword.
We're looking for work. And Capital is the greatest city in this or any age.
Well, that's true. When you say work, what do you mean? I assume you're not going to be sweeping the streets. I think you'll find there's very little work for an itinerant mercenary company in a civilized land.
We do all kinds of jobs.
Good answer. Well, you'll need a charter to operate in the city. That shouldn't be difficult. You'll just have to prostitute yourself to some sufficiently desperate noble.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Not bad. Pretty good. I'm trying to think if this guy's going to ask anything else. He says, is this the entire complement of the officers of the ship?
Senior officers, yes.
And what is that? See, we have.
Is it talking about me?
We have. I think there's a term for them. I think it might be like the children of Asmodeus is the name that people refer to them as. He says we have many. We have an infestation of tieflings in the city currently, so they I am well familiar with. Happily, I do not spend much time on land, but this creature is new to me.
Gets are big. I actually don't really know what they are.
Well,
As
that means King
Lars,
doesn't. That means King doesn't know what they are.
In my best like approximation of like parroting the herald's like pageantry,
Yeah.
I introduce of course this is Degelic the Impious. He is captain of the Somnium Tenebris and the pilot of the Chain of Acheron.
Oh. And where I apologize. Where are you from? He would never say I apologize. He's an open. And did you come with the ship?
Suppose you could say that.
And where are your people from?
What did I say? The astral plane?
You'd probably say the Sea of Stars.
The Sea of Stars.
Yeah, only scientists call it the astral.
Right.
That's not a thing he knows a whole hell of a lot about, so he's going to be like, Well, at least there are some civilized creatures among you.
Copper is very
I have
civilized.
a silly hat on, and I'm like,
He's like a
He's down here like.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do his best to make small talk and just ask you guys what happened. How did you get here? He wants to know everything that happened from Black Bottom. He doesn't seem like he knows anything about the Chain of Acheron, so he doesn't know anything about your history.
Does he know about Black Bottom being destroyed?
How are you going to find that out?
I don't know if I would tell him.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him
Why?
why it was destroyed. I'm saying we fled the destruction.
When we got here a lot faster than
Yeah, that's...
what the fastest ship that...
Well, I mean, we already told him we're looking for work and we came here because this is the greatest city in the Serene Age.
Yeah, but like...
He liked that. He likes it when you flatter the city.
Marketing.
Like nobody else from Black Bottom could have beaten us here
Correct.
in like
Except
a
for
regular
the
boat,
Rosso Cielo.
right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Rosso Cielo.
I've never
But the Rosso
smelled
Cielo still got
anything
air
like
in it.
this
They're a much...
in any age.
it's the most aromatic city.
Their sewer system could use some work. It's nothing like alloys.
We were supposed to get from Gadesto the breakdown of all the houses and stuff. So
Yeah.
I still need to get that.
I started working on that. You'll be
Okay.
happy to know.
Okay.
You'll be happy to know. I actually did start working on that. Yeah. This dude is a member of House Verona. House Verona run the Imperial Navy. They are the.
Is that the Raven?
Yeah, they're the house of they're the House of the Raven, or the Black Raven House is another name.
But they also have a church.
They all. I mean, what do you mean by they have a church?
Is it Church of Saint Verona? Was something you told me? It's a note that I have when you were telling me about the different guilds and stuff.
I mean, there are churches. I mean, every noble house sponsors churches.
Okay.
Just not.
Well, we can figure that out later. I guess.
No, but these guys' claim to fame is that this guy is like a pretty high up there. He's not the head of the house, but he's most of the ships in the Imperial Navy. Their captains are also nobles, and so these are the guys that defend. They defend the city, and they defend trade. So they often act as escorts to Rioan trade ships.
Do they trade in cannons? We want to buy cannons. We need to re-outfit the ship.
Yeah. How would he express this? You would have to be very popular indeed to get a charter to buy cannons.
Okay.
I wish you luck. I hope you are.
Who's saying this?
I think this is King and the
the noble?
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious
Yeah.
if he was talking to somebody else.
Is the noble speaking with us alone?
It's the noble and the herald.
Oh, I see.
We're in the
Of the officers'
captain's
mess.
Yeah, officers' mess.
And in a little while, it's probably gonna take a while. It's probably gonna take a couple hours for those Marines. There's only 6 of them, for those Marines to inspect the ship. He's like, I'm sure that cannons can be bought somewhere, possibly on the black market. But of course, if we found out about that, we would arrest those people. We have the exclusive. This technology is exclusive to his Royal Prince's Imperial Navy.
Well, what about sails and rigging? I think we could do with outfitting the ship a little better to travel these
That just costs money.
seas.
There are plenty of facilities, plenty of places in the docks. He calls them the stays. He says there are plenty of people in the stays that you can pay to fix up the ship. Yeah, he's just gonna. So a couple hours are gonna pass, and he's gonna make small talk. And he wants to know a lot about who the Chain are and why you're called the Chain of Acheron. What is the significance of that?
Chronicler.
Do you know?
Lars doesn't know. King would know.
One of the
So the
That's interesting.
myth is that the Chain
So-
is one of the 9 mercenary companies born from the rivers of hell.
The
And-
last of the Hell Troopers.
Yeah, the last of the Hell Troopers. And so Acheron is one of the rivers
Oh.
of hell.
Yes. There was another company, the castle, the
Tower.
Iron Tower. Yes, I remember. The Iron Tower was in Capital just a few years ago. Yes. Now it all falls into place.
They were the ones, real quick, just to remind me, the Iron Tower was the previous mercenary company that Ajax wiped out.
The Flying Pyramid one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were the group that played at Pandemic Studios.
What were they doing here in Capital?
Looking for work.
Yeah, he's.
Same as us, I suppose.
What were the Iron Tower doing in Capital? I think this was. During the last prince's reign when he was still alive, and they were They were hired by a minor noble house to act as their army. There was a minor noble house that was trying to make a play to become a great house, and so for a little while they hired the Iron Tower. And it almost worked.
It almost worked for the noble house, or for
Yeah,
the
well, unfortunately, they ran out of money.
Ah.
And when that happened, suddenly the Iron Tower became a lot less enthusiastic about fighting for them. Because this is years ago.
No one fights for free.
Well, some people fight for honor. Some people fight for pay.
Can we talk to him about we heard about the murder? If there's been any developments on that?
You heard about the murder.
The murder of the prince?
Oh.
What's the status of the city right now? I don't know if he's going to want to talk to us about any of that stuff.
No, probably not. This inspection is he wants to get a sense of who you people are, and he wants to understand what this ship is. And now that he's been on board, he basically gets it. And now he's just going to wait for the inspection to finish and make sure you guys aren't. Now that he knows you're a mercenary company, he's a little less freaked out about what's going on. So he's not super forthcoming with details. He's a very officious nobleman.
All right, well, I guess let us know if you want any more wine. Go do something else.
What do you call them? After a while, the Imperial Navy, the Marines, show up and they report, and they're like, we couldn't find anything. They're like, the ship's mostly empty. It's outfitted for a crew 3 times the size of what it's got.
It didn't come furnished.
They talk about the Marines say, sir, can we talk to you in private? And he's like, certainly. And he gets up and walks, a few feet
Do I
away.
have the medallion?
And they start just going this and that, and there's this other thing. And he's like, okay, well.
Keep in mind they know when you cast it if they fail the DC.
And after the Marines are done reporting in, he says, all right, well, you can go back to he goes, return to your duties on the I forgot the name of the ship, the Broad Sword. And they're like, sir, and they salute. And he says, well, you've passed inspection. Your ship seems to be mostly empty, although there are many interesting fittings on it. I'm curious about the cannon-like objects that are mounted on the sides of the ship.
They're broken.
Well, perhaps you could escort me to one of them.
Sure. I mean, why not?
Don't.
Joe is not invited.
Yeah.
Why not?
Take it close
because we saw that smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. How to get kicked out of Capital before
Seriously.
we even dock.
He wants to take a look at the psychic cannons.
You can take
Sure.
a look if you'd like.
Who's going to lead
A
him down?
close look if you'd like.
I'll go with them.
I'll
go.
Boots.
This is my ship. I will go.
All right, well, let's go.
You take him down to the deck that has the cannons on it, and he's like, yes, I see it, like a ballista style of thing. And he kind of walks up to it, and as soon as he grabs it, the little thing's going. He's like, oh, black gods.
I would not.
Watch your face.
He doesn't say black gods. I have to figure out what Rio wants to say when they swear.
Yeah.
That's a very Baslorian thing to say.
Hmm.
He goes, so how do these things operate? And he tries to point it at the water and what does this do? Nothing happens.
Slim will explain it to him in detail. How
He's
they
like,
work.
I see. Black gods. And do you have any plans to feed anything into these devices?
We're not that kind of mercenary company.
But certainly.
No, you're not there. You were not invited.
I feel
You were not
like
invited.
I
After
mean,
that smile, fuck no.
the idea is to replace these with more user friendly.
It would probably be like ballistas or something like that.
Yeah.
That you would use to harpoon another ship or aim at the sails and tear the sails apart. Because most ships in this plane of existence do not have access to cannon. That's something the Imperial Navy tries to make sure only they have.
Right.
I know who we got to make
I'm
friends
fascinated by this cannon.
Yeah, I don't know if a GIF has ever seen them before, but you can see these large black barrels.
Right.
And you don't know what they do, but they're somewhat ominous. They look like mouths. They look like a whole row of mouths on the
Tubes
on the
sticking
Broad
out.
Sword.
Yeah.
On the HRP Broad Sword. My voice is starting to go. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize.
That's right. It's getting late.
It's getting late. Yeah.
He's like, do you mind if we, we have a prescription against anyone else in Riojan waters using cannons. And although these aren't obviously cannons, they could be used offensively. Do you mind if we seal them?
Seal them?
Yeah, it's basically put like, how would he turns to his herald? And he says, I don't know the right word for it. What is it? He goes, we just like put a lock on it. And it's got the Imperial Navy's seal on it, so you have to break it if you want to use it. It's a formality.
We're not about to
He's
use
like
these
he's like
things
it's,
I
anyway.
mean,
he's like
yeah,
he's
that
like
seems fine.
he's
Just,
like he describes it and then he's kind of like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
As long as we can remove it when we want to remove these cannons, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
something
we'd have to
where-
break them, and if we're thinking about taking them out anyway.
So like imagine if
I don't think we want anyone else using them.
the
No,
herald
definitely not.
the herald will step forward and say, merely a formality, as long as you're not planning on using these offensively. However, if there was an incident around the docks where there was damage to a ship or damage to a civilian vessel that seemed like it might come from whatever these things are, then we would, of course, immediately expect to inspect the ship and check to
Oh, I
see
get
that the
it.
seals were there. If they were broken,
It's like a wax seal,
then
basically.
there
Yeah,
might
I
be
get it.
there might be some judicial action taken.
Just use caution.
Yeah, you hear someone go, ah! And all of a sudden it's like, well, now we have a fully charged cannon and one dead sailor. No. So that's the only thing this guy wants to do. This stuff is mostly a formality to him. But he's super interested in the ship. So the whole time as he's getting ready to leave, he just wants to stop and like touch the walls and say and ask how the ship works, because these appear to be veins. Is there blood flowing through them? What is the
Indeed, it's a living creature.
my men were reporting to me that their ship ate an orca on the way here. Is that accurate?
The ship must feed.
The ship must feed. He turns to
On
his
sea life,
on his.
aquatic life.
He's like, well, this has certainly been a visit to remember. He says, well, you have the. If anybody questions you when you reach the stays, is what he calls the docks, you may tell them that you have passed inspection from his Royal Navy.
Is there documentation to prove that?
The herald will provide you documents. Yeah, he pulls this thing out and he gets a seal and he presses the seal into it and he says, "This will get you as far as the docks."
That's the island.
Yeah.
Far enough.
That's also known as the stays. It is 11:18 and my voice is going.
Sure.
So when next we pick up, you guys will get off. You guys will
Disembark.
officially disembark. You guys will officially disembark from the Somnium Tenebris and pull up into the docks. And you'll have to go through customs. That'll be the next thing. And then who knows what'll happen. So thanks for I very desperately need to recharge my batteries. I apologize. I've been running on empty now for several weeks. But we fulfilled, we've launched the stream. We released a PDF for the book, so now we're just waiting for the hardcover to come out, and hopefully, maybe by the time they've watched this, will there have been a Kickstarter update, Anna?
Yep. Definitely.
Yay! So yeah, Anna is working. I think is this the first Kickstarter update you've written?
It will be.
Yes. So Anna.
I think I helped out with one of them, but
Yeah.
this is maybe mine.
Anna is writing a Kickstarter update to give all the straight dope that she has not let me talk about. When I'm like, "Whoa, look at this! Ooh, what we found out!" And she's like, "Oh, shut up! Don't tell anybody that. Don't tweet that. I want to announce this." So Anna is going to be
get all the
updating.
pieces together for a full
Yeah.
picture.
I think it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, the book and the minis are coming. We're super excited. And next time we see each other, hopefully there'll be some cool things going on in Capital, the city of the great game. Until next Wednesday, be seeing you.